Pids, we got a Paxton Selly. We got a Paxton Brace. He's coming into his own. USMNT crashing back out. It's beautiful. We know our World Cup groups, and Summit did some historic stuff in a 0-0 tie. All that and more starting now.
It's winning by 20 this weekend.
Up the Pids, up soccer in Colorado, in the Mile High City. We are coming to you from downtown Denver on the corner of Colfax and York, right above the DNVR bar. We are live from the Toyota Lounge with the burgundiest of boys here. And an adopted burgundy boy on the ones and twos. Super producer Christian Size, our guy. Also, we are an official Double P podcast, which is beautiful. Pids podcast, we're kind of our own Double P, you know. Duane has no idea what we're talking about,
but it sounds fun.
Love it. And Mark in the Toyota chat. Am I doing okay? No, I am not.
Before we continue.
No, I am not, Mark, but thank you for checking in. I am as down bad as I could ever be. Go ahead, Yahya.
Before we continue, I'm Yahya. This is Duane. I think Dre deserves a good minute about ranting about Italy. Let all the feelings out into the world, into the ether. I think it's deserved. I think it's valid. I think you should go for it.
It's a creative boycott, I thought.
What people don't understand is this all starts back in 2006, a corruption scandal of Juve fixing ref matches, and Italy's the top league in the world at that point. World Cup final, Italy wins that year. The opponent they beat, France, has more players playing in Serie A than in any other league. That Champions League has 3 of the 4 semifinalists are Italian teams. And we fumbled the bag. And it goes to show you, corruption, being selfish, looking out for just for yourself, can ruin an entire movement, can ruin an entire generation. And now my daughter will be 12 before she maybe at 12, she'll be able to finally see Italy in a World Cup. Don't hold your breath. So yeah, I'm down terribly, but God, do I love this sport. And God, do I love doing this show, you know? For a few moments, I thought maybe I shouldn't do this one. But then I was like, no, that's not what we do. That's just not what we do.
You kind of have to like fester in the shit a little bit.
And I'm going to wear my gear. You know, anyone can wear their gear after a win. Only real ones can wear their stuff after a loss and stand with their people no matter what is happening. I told Yahya I was watching highlights of the Euro final where we beat England in England. You know, I've lived a blessed sports life. I've seen a lot. It was a historic night, but sometimes history is an evil merchant as well. And that's where we're at.
I just thought you deserved a little bit of a letting go of it, man. It's so hard. As somebody that's never won anything in international sports in his life, has never seen a trophy of that sort, I can feel your pain, and I really do understand.
Hey, would have been nice. Would have been nice in a home World Cup to get to see my guys. But alas, it is not in the cards. And we'll see. I might be ready to root for another red, white, and green this World Cup. Because,
oh, boy. Here we go.
I don't know. The poach boys might get poached. I don't think it's happening, guys.
I've said this for years. Italians are the Mexicans of Europe. And I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it.
I mean, facts. And also there's part of that game where, like, the first 40 minutes of them playing down a man, I'm kind of super proud of how they were playing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is Italian football at its greatest. And then it all went to shit. But we'll get into international soccer in a teensy bit later in the show. Let's start with these Pids, who, since we sat in studio with Paxton, went 1-1. Tough loss to NYCFC, who are now second in the East, and a big dub, taking care of business against lowly Sporting Kansas City, getting that elusive road dub. That was a big one to take care of business there. And then we get Georgi this Saturday. So that's going to be a fun one. We've got our own Georgi now as well.
Georgi versus Georgi.
Georgi on Georgi crime, baby.
Indeed. Let's start with your biggest takeaways from those last two Pids games.
My first one from the NYC one is New York should not be allowed to play soccer until they have a real pitch. That pitch made it so difficult it's such a home advantage. Like, it's thin, it's long, and there's no width. In order to play real soccer, you need some width. And
especially Wells ball.
Yeah, and like they got kind of screwed there. Like, you're trying to play out of the back. It's so condensed, you really can't. They tried their best. Yappy is a beast in every aspect of beast.
Oh my God.
The way he took the ball and just like drowned it. Rafa too. That assist by Hafa, like, those dudes are well connected. Like, Hafa has turned into Georgi Mihailovic and Yappy has turned into Hafa. Like, to me, it's just, I think you throw that game away mostly because I think the pitch is just such a hard way to play soccer in New York. Whenever the Rapids have one there, it's because they're playing counterattack, which is the only way you can really play in that kind of pitch. Matt Wild's ball does not work in that area.
No, it doesn't.
And I do think the Rapids played pretty well. And you were also missing Zach Steffen, and I think this is the first game in Rapids since Zach wasn't around that you really felt Zach not being around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's not a throwaway because you need the points. Like, all points are good points. But if there is a game to throw away because the pitch is so stupid, it's NYCFC. Like, and I take their ranking as second in the East with a grain of salt because they do have such an advantage, forcing teams to play out of sorts there. So I agree with Yahya on that. The other thing, which I think is the biggest takeaway that Yahya also mentioned, is that new connection between Yappy and Hafa. Like, I think we all expected Yappy moving over to the wing when he was a little questionable about it in those interviews earlier in the season. He's really grown into it. I mean, not even grown into it. He just kind of turned it on. But I think we expected to see him delivering the ball, finally having someone on the wing that can get the ball to Hafa. But we've seen it be the reverse now with Hafa. For the last couple seasons, though he flirted with breaking the in-season scoring record, the thing we've always talked about is how good he is at everything outside of the striker position. How good he is with the ball and putting the ball into the right place. And now we're seeing him switch over into almost that false nine position where he's getting the ball to Yappy instead of the other way around. And I mean, that assist was beautiful. Just the whole play. I've watched it so many times, like, because this is the Rapids we've been wanting and crying for so many seasons now. And now we're starting to see some of those things happen.
Yeah, I guess my outlook's a little less rosy. I think it was a smidge reminiscent of the Seattle game.
Yeah.
Where against opponents that are at a higher tier skill level, on ball, just ability, the Rapids are still lacking a bit, and Wells ball is going to be stifled a bit.
Yeah.
Because, it's harder to force those turnovers and then turn it around with those quick passes and getting out wide and creating those fast break opportunities. And yeah, the pitch is a disadvantage. Yappy was outstanding in that game. I have a lot of Yappy takes for sure. But I think it was a reminder of, like, okay, even with Wells, we still have some work to do. We're still not I'm not ready to say like, oh, we're cup contenders. You know, like course. I think, the goal is still make the playoffs, not win the whole damn thing, because there are teams that are just at another level in this league, and NYCFC was a good reminder of that.
Yeah, and again, with all that, like to me, it's like not even a wild thing. It's just a talent level thing. And I think you can tell, like, if we jump to the next game, SKC, they have a lot more talent on the pitch than SKC.
Yes, sir.
And it made a huge difference.
Yes, sir.
And if it goes 4-1, and then you have Paxton breaking out, you have Hafa having the highest 2 assists and a goal, 3 goal contributions in one game. It's like, it's pretty insane. Like, and that's where you kind of like, you are right there at the verge of tier 1, but you're right at tier 2.
Yep.
Like you're right at the like maybe top of tier 2, and that's kind of where the Rapids were last year too, at the beginning of the year.
Yes. And absolutely.
And it's kind of like, how do you make that next jump? And they're very close, and I think Matt Wells can help them make that jump, because they're still learning a new system. It's 5 games in.
Yeah.
But the most encouraging part of all this is that they're in 7th place right now, I think, in the West, right?
Yeah.
But with only 1 point behind RSL and Seattle, and a positive 4-goal differential, which is like, you don't see that from the Rapids very often. When last year, when they were in the same position, they were like at -8, -3. They were just winning 1-0 games. Like, they were barely scratching, but they were getting blown out in other ones. Right now, I think they're just kind of scratching their way up, and they're gonna get there eventually. And with already scoring 11 goals, it's the 3rd most in the West.
3rd most in the West,
It's pretty insane to look at. And I think that's the most positive, because defense can always improve with a little bit more adjustments, learning the system better, learning how to pass out of the back and not make as many mistakes. Yeah. And I think that's how they can, like, they're like right on their way there.
I think the encouraging thing, talking about the Kansas City game, is that last year we would have lost to a team this bad. Because the mentality wasn't there. Like, the Rapids have not been for several years a Mortal Kombat finished him kind of team. If they were get up, they would have a mental lapse and give up a goal right at the end of either first half or the second half. That happened, and we all got worried. And then what happened 20 seconds after that? We put ourselves back in up top. And like, that's something we have not seen in a long time. There's a mentality under Matt Wells with the Colorado Rapids this year that is not going to go a 1-goal, 1-0 lead is good enough. Let's just play out the rest of the game and play not to lose. This is a squad with a mentality of not losing is not good enough. We have to win. We have to get those 3 points. And that's a mentality that, for me personally, both as a fan and as a part of this team that goes and talks about the team and covers them, like, it's something I have been just like crying for years. And now we see a team with a little bit of mental toughness to get to take care of business, you know? And like, that was so encouraging, because yes, Kansas City is a bad team, but good and even just okay teams have to beat bad teams. And the Rapids have been unable to do that for years. We took care of business, and we like pummeled a bad team, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you're thinking like, oh, silly Duane with his storylines, no, they'd lost the last 3 to Kansas City, including a 4-2 loss in KC on August 30th last year, which is where the wheels were really falling off the bus. I mean, you probably make the playoffs if you take care of business. Yeah. So it's a good point. My takeaway, boys, we've been talking about 2026 and the lead up to the World Cup. And in the last year, that's felt a little laughable. And yet, after watching, wall-to-wall World Cup qualifiers yesterday, and then watching highlights and rewatching some of those 2 games yesterday to prep for that show, I felt like, damn, the level they're playing at, the soccer style they are playing, is something that when the casual has watched the World Cup for a month this summer and then is like, what the hell? Let's check out some MLS. Let's put the Rapids on. They won't be disappointed. They won't feel like, oh man, it's such a drop off. They're so sloppy. And in years past, I would maybe tell you like, well, watch LAFC, watch the Sounders, watch Vancouver, whatever. Like you will see that level in MLS. It just isn't happening here in Colorado. Now it is happening in Colorado. We have a style that's entertaining, that's exciting, an intensity and athleticism, a work rate that is like it's right up there with the top leagues. Honestly, the Italian football could learn from some of the work rate we're seeing for the Rapids, and that's exciting, man. That's really exciting. And you take care of business. You finally get that road win. You're gonna have to get some more against these teams that you're clearly a tier above, and encouraging to already see those results this early in the season.
And no matter what game you put on for the Rapids, whether they win or lose, it's going to be a game full of goals. They lost the first game 2-0. Then they won the next one 2-0. Then they win the next one 4-1. And then they win the next one. They lose the next one 3-1. And then 4-1 again. It's like, no matter what, as an American fan that's a casual that wants to see goals, this is the perfect team to kind of get into at this moment, because it's going to be so easy to like latch on to all these different like storylines, especially with a team, how you said, that's playing really fun.
Is that Big Liz Bacon, Big Diz Bacon, saying there's just something about beating the shit out of bad teams that says we're here? Damn straight. Coming to you in the Toyota chat. We're going to talk some more Pids, because since our last show, we have had 3 signings. The GAM is just going nuts. Can't wait to get into that. And some more big picture implications about what the Rapids are doing and the excitement the organization is showing us under Matt Wells. It's not just in our Toyota chat. It's being shown. The money is put where their mouth is. So we'll get into all of that on the other side. But first, a shout out to our friends. Toyota, official partner of the Colorado Rapids, an official partner of DNVR, true homies. I always say the perfect Colorado car, because trucks and SUVs are part of Toyota's DNA. 4-wheel, all-wheel, they've got you covered across the board. Perfect car to play hooky. Getting, you're like despondent. You can't stand soccer anymore. Go get lost in your Toyota in the mountains. Just do your thing, man. Dream about Lucas Harrington buildups from the back of him just commanding. And you can do that in your Toyota, because their reliability, their safety, their, just a damn good car. And everyone at DNVR who drives a Toyota loves their vehicle and speaks so highly about it. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, I urge you to visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. Much like the Wells era, Toyota, let's go places. And also a shout out to our friends at New Built Restoration and Construction. I've got a job for them. How about head over to Italy and fix our soccer problems over there? I bet you New Built Construction could do that, because they are licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or monumental, like repairing Italian soccer. And they're available 24/7, which we need that help instantly. And they truly care about their customers. 600 plus reviews online can prove that. They'll work with your insurance to make a stressful process as easy as they possibly can. And they offer a full range of repair services, from fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, commercial projects, you name it, and are true DNVR fans and excited to support us. We're excited to support them. So when that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at nubilt.com or 720-902-7472. Let them know the homies from the Pids pod sent you, or just tell them DNVR sent you. Bang, bang. Okay. We are so back, baby. If you want to throw a bumper in there, feel free, Christian. Don't you worry about me. Back in the Toyota Lounge, doing our thing. As we mentioned, 3 new signings for the Pids. which, my God, they've never spent this much on the transfer market. These last 2 windows, I mean, they've spent all the Georgi money. They've spent all the Cole Bassett money. They cannot stop spending. And at first, Loic Williams, the 24-year-old Spanish center back from Granada, over 100 caps in La Liga 2, big boy, big physical. Loic Williams, yes. What did I say that?
I think
the
you
first
did.
time?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I might have been looking at
you're all
some
good.
other stats.
You're all good.
My bad.
And then Kosi Thompson from Toronto FC, a 23-year-old defender, kind of a utility man, didn't play a ton last season, but has a good amount of MLS Cups from 23 and 24 under his belt. Duane, a little funny that they're just adding more defenders, very Pidsy, but Loic is a guy they've been targeting for a while, and they've got some depth there.
Yeah, and you have to wonder about the Reggie injury and how bad that is, you know, because it became clear like that injury might be, you know, quite a bit worse than they were hoping for with this signing. So I think there's a place for him there with Reggie probably out for a while. Keegan's doing great every time he comes in, but Keegan's been playing a great role as a sub. So we need someone to come in and be a consistent starter. Loic is probably that guy.
He'll come over in the summer worth mentioning.
And also there's the elephant in the room that, you know, we all talk about on Twitter and talk about, you know, in the hallways is that Lucas Harrington is very, 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 very good at soccer. And
first Australian cap.
Yeah.
Under his
played
belt
up with the national team. And not only that, but ended up man of the match in his first ever international cap.
He is him. I don't know how you say that in Australia, but he is him.
Yeah. It's
Oi.
Oi, that boy. You know, the phone's probably already ringing in Commerce City for him. Obviously none of us know if it's going to happen sooner or later, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be another great defender move for the Rapids, you know, after Moyes, Bombito. Now there's Lucas Harrington.
Austin Trusty. Don't forget the Trusty.
Started.
Yeah,
and honestly, Sam Vines too is in that realm.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, you know, time. First time he went, like, so, you know, I think preseason we were all like, oh my God, not another defender. No more. But now it's like, well,
makes sense.
Turns out there's a reason I'm not a GM. Yeah. And it's because, you know, here's an injury. Here's a great player who might be moving soon, and we do need that depth. So,
not to mention, Rob's been a lot better. Rob Holding,
yeah.
He also, like, the NYCFC game wasn't his best. Like, he still has some lapses, and I think just putting some pressure on him and Noah Cobb to, like, hey man, this, like, we're expecting high level. We've produced some really good center backs, and center backs an important position for us, and just adding depth and quality and youth.
Rob's contract is also up this year. So there's decisions to be made, you know, as far as bringing in this youth.
100%.
And Lucas, there's already rumors that West Ham was circling him. There's already West Ham's already looking at him. But we got to remember with Lucas Harrington, he chose to come to the Rapids. He had offers in place in Europe. People forget that Manchester City group has a team out in Australia. So he was scouted by Man City too. Like, he has been on the radar of big clubs for quite a while, and there were some offers out there. He chose to come to Colorado because of what they've been able to do with their defenders. They have a good track record of young players coming in, playing well defensively, and then getting sent out to Europe and having a good career. We talked about it. Austin Trusty, Moise Bombito. And I think Loic Williams just gives you a little bit more insurance in case he balls out at the World Cup, that immediately you have somebody that can come in and replace him, right? Yep. Because you know after the World Cup, it's when the transfer market gets the hottest. Yep. All you need is one good World Cup, and people are knocking at the door trying to buy every guy that balled out in these tournaments.
Especially a 19-year-old.
18-year-old, I think he is right now.
Yes, correct.
Like it's even like he's a guy that's what, like 6'2", like can play with the ball, can have the ball at his feet, and is really fast and it's really smart. Like
he's a unicorn.
This dude, if he balls out at the World Cup, he can command $20 million for the Rapids due to age, due to like his skill set
with a sell-on percentage.
Yeah,
with like a hefty
with a sell-on. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think the Rapids are in a really good place with this kid, and Loic Williams, I think, is another really good player that's a little bit older, but also brings a little bit more of that maturity that you might need and a quick replacement halfway through the season.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to be really helpful with Kosi Thompson. I'm not upset that he's here. I get Reggie's out, but I think you do have a really good kind of backline in general, depth, with even Ian Murphy being able to play back there and like help out in areas.
Yeah.
I would have rather that transfer go more towards like a midfielder. I know he can play some midfield, but I think that's where you're lacking the most amount of depth.
That's the one area.
Yeah.
And like everything else, I think it's good right now. I think you're like 3 deep in most areas that like you feel comfortable with, especially including players in Rapids too, like Watuda and Diop. And to me, it's just like I would have really liked another midfielder instead of another right back. I think you would have been fine for the most part.
Yeah, because now the depth on defense feels amazing. And with them adding Georgi Minoungou from the Seattle Sounders, the Burkina Faso one-eyed killer, who already has 8 cups, has played for Burkina Faso in World Cup qualies and the African Cup of Nations, even bagged a goal. Very exciting winger. And yeah, I know you have some thoughts, but before I send it to you, USMNT Twitter was crashing out after we signed Paxton Aronson. We were Team America. We had an American coach, and we'd signed all these American players. Since then, we have only signed internationals. And the 3 guys we just talked about, one is Spanish, one's from Burkina Faso, and one is from Canada. So we are continuing the international run with our international non-American coach. So the trend has flipped completely. But yeah, how excited are you about this signing?
This is the kind of guy that the other day I was falling asleep, and to fall asleep, I like to create scenarios in my head.
Nice,
it just kind of puts me to bed a little bit.
Hell yeah.
And I was thinking, what's one guy that like is a European name that you could bring in and play Matt Wells ball? And I'm like, oh, it's Raheem Sterling. That's the kind of guy that you can bring in here, big name, will cost you $20 million, kind of with those kind of like MLS level of player that you can get in here. It'll be really fun. And then we get Georgi. And I'm like, we just got Raheem Sterling younger. Like, we got Raheem Sterling cheaper. Yeah. Like, it's that type of player. Like, I'm not saying he's going to play in Premier League or be that big of a contributor in a big club. But, like, that's the kind of star you're going to see play. Quick. He's a baller. He's a Brazilian in a African body right now. Like, he's one of those guys that can dribble you out of your socks, and it's gonna be a lot of fun for Rapids fans to see, especially because you'll have that guy paired with Yapi on the other side most likely, and Hafa down the middle, and then you have Paxton. It's like that attack just became so potent. The way we look at LA Galaxy up top with Gabriel Peck, and you have Pencil and Marco Royce and all these guys. You kind of have that now with the Rapids too. You have that level of talent, in my opinion. I think your Gabriel Peck is your Hafa. Like, you're literally playing at the level of some of the big boys and past champions the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, or like Seattle, who Jordan Morris goes out 10 minutes into the game, and then we get Rothrock. We have that kind of depth at top. And I think he'll be a fan favorite, Duane, a guy who like gets the ball and immediately wants to go downhill, immediately wants to take guys on one-on-one and create an advantage for you, a numerical advantage. Just an exciting player. And going after that same mold of what's worked for Poreg, the island of misfit toys. He very much fits that mold, and I think can be a really exciting player.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the words fan favorite. He is fan favorite bound. There are a couple things. If you are a ball knower or if you are not, you're a casual who's maybe, Pids curious, as we like to say, and this is your first trip. You don't have to know soccer to know what happens when you see an ankle breaker move. And he's going to be the guy on these one-on-one challenges to just lay down some massive ankle breakers. Mm-hmm. He's going to do some sweep moves that whether you are way into soccer or you're brand new, you're going to know whatever that was very good. Yeah. And I just got to witness it. Backflips on the pitch. Mm-hmm. I'm so jazzed to see backflips. But the guy is just one of those guys who's always smiling when he's playing the game. He comes with so much energy, both in his game, but also as a personality. When you are looking at what the disappointment of the Rapids the last couple of years, now you're going to be you've got some more interest because we're playing well. We've got a new system. You've got Summit doing well. You've got the World Cup. Like you said, after you watch the World Cup, maybe now you're curious enough to watch a Pids game.
Yeah. You're Pid curious.
You're Pid curious. Like, this is the kind of personality that's really going to win over fans. My measurement has been the same for years. When we trade for a player, I go and look at what the other team's Twitter has to say about it. They were not happy because they loved him so much. They hate to see him go. That's all I need to know. It's a great barometer for what we're about to get. We already know he's good at playing, but he's going to bring a lot of personality and inject it into the team. I think him personality-wise with Yappy is going to be so much fun. It's going to be a blast at the Dick. It's going to be awesome.
And yeah, we have so many wingers now, and we talked about it with Loic Williams. Honestly, when I'm rewatching those NYCFC highlights, I'm thinking this guy is also an insurance clause, much like Loic Williams is for Lucas Harrington for either Yappy or Hafa.
Yes.
Because if now you lose Hafa, Yappy goes back to the striker spot and Georgi can be that left winger. Or he can be an alternative to Dante as on the right wing. Or he can play up top in a two-striker system or whatever, you know. He's going to be very versatile and useful to that attack. And right now it feels like, man, we have so many wingers. When's KSB or Alex Harris ever going to see the field? Or Manyama, who's shown good early returns. And it's like, well, does it even matter? Because maybe in the summer you'll be short one of these guys and then you'll really need Georgi.
Yeah, I think they have an embarrassment of riches right now at the winger, and it's something
who would have thought?
Like,
who would have thought?
12 months ago,
what a world we live in.
For saying
12
that.
months, literally 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks ago, we were creating the graphic for the lineup predictions. We're like, who do we put on the left wing?
It's crazy because Yappy has really showed out really well in the wing. Now,
oh my God,
he is playing at a DP level right now.
Yes, sir.
And it's
yes, sir.
Like, you have that guy there, homegrown, like Colorado's own. Like, now you feel like, oh, you have a place and forget guy right there. And it's crazy to say because at the start of the season, he told people, I don't know how I fit in the system. Apparently, you fit in being a star, brother. You're like the one star right in the middle that completes the whole puzzle. Then you have KSB, who is my dude, who is killing it right now in Rapids 2. Even Rapids 2 is doing pretty bad. He's actually having a good run of games. And then you got Manyoma, who has showed out really well. You still have Dante Seeley, who you honestly want to give him more minutes. You want to throw him out there to like kind of get in rhythm maybe. And then you get this Georgi, and it's like, who do you play out there at this point? And then we're even forgetting Cudi Pietro, who can play out on the wing, and he can play that 10. He can play that other midfield spot. And he's actually been in these games quite a bit, and he's actually shown something. It's something that I've given a lot of shit this front office for, but I think they've really shut me up because they've gone out there and they got in good quality players at positions of need. They got a good head coach, and you have to give credit where credit is due, and they're doing their job right now. They're getting reinforcements. How I said, my biggest gripe is I wish it was another midfielder, but that's nitpicking at this point. Yeah. Because you do have Connor Ronan, you do have Atencio, and you have Wayne Frederick, who I think is playing pretty well. Not my favorite style of play most of the time, but that doesn't mean he's not doing well out there. It's just not it's a preference thing at that point. Yeah. And then you have Hamza, who I think is a set and forget kind of player for you. My biggest issue with Hamza is just like, how many reds is he gonna accumulate this year before we're really stuck in a spot where we need another midfielder more than, and not to talk about injury. it just feels like the Rapids have been built in a way that can be sustainable for this year at least. And then hopefully Matt decides to stay. It's not a Minnesota thing where he leaves.
We could use some insurance. Like we could sign the next coach in waiting. A little insurance.
It feels a little bit like that, right? Like I really do hope that he gets to stay. I really hope that we have him here.
Me too, man.
And because
but you know what? The team's committing big money to this squad that they haven't in the past.
And that's
so they're at least putting their best foot forward of we're building you a club that's got depth, not just in the first team, but in the second team as well. I mean, Bryce Jamison, a guy I'm really excited about.
Bryce Jamison, another guy that we haven't even seen.
Donovan Edwards, right? The NC State kid. Like, he already scored a goal for R2. Like, we got Billow waiting. Like, there's some guys in this org across the board to be excited about. And they're not just happy like, oh, we've got depth at R2. No, they're making 3. And I mean, Loic and Georgi are pretty big money signings for our standards.
$4 million, let's say like $5 million, including the GAM and everything.
Yeah.
Like if you translate it, it's around $5 million for both. Like that's a big investment. Like that's a huge investment.
We would have been shocked 2 seasons ago to see the Rapids
100%.
Spend anywhere near that much.
100%.
And now that's been like the norm this season, the off season, right up until the end of the window. I mean, that's when we see like rumors coming, from Tommy Scoops or whoever, it's like it's probably going to be around $3 million. And like that's the new Rapids, which is strange and weird. But that's the norm.
It's amazing.
Now. Max Moneybag, awesome. Like Max Moneybag Alves. Remember, he was like $2 million, and like we were like, oh, bro, like this, they're spending money. Like he was like the 4th highest transfer fee. Like now they're kind of just dropping the $2 million like it's nothing, like left and right. Because they're doing good business at this point. And I just hope Matt gets to stay because I think if Matt stays, you build continuity, you get a team.
Yes, sir.
And I think you get another 2 transfer windows where you can go and get even more players. You can kind of start filling up some of these gaps. Go get that other midfielder that you need to pair with Hamza. You get that other defender that can pair with either Loic or Lucas if one of them is gone. Or like that's when you can kind of start building this roster little by little, while bringing some of those young guys up. If he leaves, like it's really hard because then you're like, as a GM, as an owner, you're like, why do I spend this money to make this team good if the guy's just going to leave me next year? So I really, really hope he stays. I think this really just all falls on what Matt sees in Colorado and how long he can see himself here.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting stuff, man. It's exciting stuff, and I think they'll be fighting, and they've got the depth to think they can keep fighting, but I do have my midfield concerns for sure.
Yep.
Let's switch to Summit. Lots to talk about there too, as far as exciting stuff and building something that's sustainable. 4 games in, early returns, pretty encouraging with getting points against the Orlando Pride at home in the record breaker against Washington, and then a massive road dub against Gotham. Duane, you were at the game. What was the experience like, and who stood out for you from this squad?
I mean, the game Saturday, if you were there, and chances are you were, there's 63,000 plus people there.
Thank you, Donovan Phillips. Yes, not Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, it was electric. I mean, it was a blast. You had the parachute guys from the Broncos jumping out of a plane and delivering the game ball. You had jets flying over. I mean, you had the big gigantic from Boulder playing like a set during halftime. You had the 14ers, getting the crowd going. There were 60,000 people there. It was just atmosphere wise, it was incredible. It was so much fun to watch. As far as the game itself, it was kind of fun because we were sitting by people that we obviously didn't know, but me, I am a talk to strangers kind of guy. And we were talking, they weren't very familiar with Summit, and they were just kind of like, man, I wish something would happen. This was, right before halftime. Yeah. And I said, well, the bad news is nothing's happening yet. The good news is Summit is a second half team. They are. You can go ahead and write it down. If you're not familiar with Summit's game, they're a second half team. Every game since preseason, They have shown more spark in the second half.
Yeah.
The same was true at this game.
BFC, they're down one player, so I mean that made it harder. But yes,
you know, they tend to push a little harder in the second half. Whether or not they're figuring it all out in the first half, I don't know. But a couple of things. One, second half team. Two, if you like Rapids ball, Summit ball is going to look very familiar to you because they play out of the back. They're not quite as pressing when they get the ball as the Rapids, so you have to be a little bit more patient with Summit playing in this style. Because they will wait to draw the rest of the team in by playing out of the back, and then they almost always go to the counter on the wings, which leads me to what player has really jumped out, at least on Saturday, because there's been four really, but for Saturday, the player that really jumped out, we already know that she is amazing, but Janine Sonis on Saturday was phenomenal. It wasn't even close that she was the best player on the pitch for both teams. And I know people are going to say it's Trinity Rodman. Trinity Rodman, like,
got shut down.
She got shut down and she was like pissed. Like, you could watch it. She was super frustrated. Janine Sonis came and delivered that ball over and over and over all game. There were some close chances where the finishing didn't happen, but that wasn't because of Janine Sonis. The reason the ball was getting down was because of that right side where Janine Sonis was the catalyst to moving the ball the entire time. There's been other players throughout the short season so far. Obviously, Melissa Kostler, first time with NWSL out of Germany. She scored a goal in every game she's played preseason and regular season until Saturday. She's a great finisher. She's really doing well in NWSL.
Yeah.
You've got McCormack, who's playing great. You've got on Saturday, Yahya will disagree because we had this. Tosh Flint has been very, very good. Not as strong on Saturday as Yahya was pretty frustrated. But you've got Aya
against
Oki.
Gotham. I mean,
no, she's been great all season. Yahya just didn't like her on Saturday. Yeah. But they played 3 games in 7.
Yeah. Which I think is the other standout. Yeah. Is like they're a little gassed. The depth is.
Yeah.
And you're lacking maybe just a teensy bit of quality in the final third, which was the concern preseason of like, does this team have enough to survive until Lindsay comes to the squad? And I think early returns for an expansion team is that they definitely are there to be competing for a playoff spot. And then once Lindsay comes, watch out.
Yeah, and you can't ignore our situation at goalkeeper. Lights out goalkeeping.
Yeah, Abby Smith's been amazing.
She's been phenomenal. But then your backup is also Pauline, who's able to come in.
Yeah,
she is awesome as well. Goalkeeping has been great. Watching so far, this team looks good, man. It does not look like an expansion team.
The one thing I'll say, I think this team will go as far as Nick Cushing will let them. I think him not doing any subs really pissed me off, because like your team was exhausted. Yeah. Like you throw in the guys, the gals out there, let them play. Like, you trust your whole team. You built this team. Like, you helped build it from scratch. Literally built it from scratch. You trust some of these players that you have. Like, it's a big event. Why do you also like take away from your bench that can help you win this game? And they could have, like, if you bring in like
Olivia Thomas, and Ali Brazier,
and like they're really close to getting that goal. And it's like, if you would have done this like 10 minutes earlier, I think you would have won this game.
Yep.
And I think Nick needs to get out of that. It's a European thing a lot, actually, of like kind of holding off last minute till subs because they trust their starting 11 so much. But I think you need to trust the whole team. You need to trust, especially when you just had 3 games in a row. I think you put the players out there that can make a difference at any given moment and take advantage.
For sure. I thought the Gotham win was monumental. I mean, that's a team that's starting Rose Lavelle and a bunch of like really high-end NWSL players. And you kind of took them to the woodshed. Here at the DNVR bar, we've got drums playing. We've got a packed house. It was really awesome to see. So yeah, early returns, really, really encouraging for the summit. Excited with all that's coming and what the future holds for the squad. For sure.
Real quick before we move out summit, quick comparison: the summit are the Seattle Sounders of the WSL.
Is that right?
They are them.
Tell me more.
There's just a feeling to them. They have like these USMNT players that are like key contributors, kind of like Dallas Roldan, the Jordan Morris. And I know other teams around NWSL kind of have that. But when the Seattle Sounders came around, there was this huge push around the league. And that was kind of, to me, the breaking point of the league has changed in 2008. Like, it's not the same MLS 1.0 or MLS. Like, and this kind of feels the same rhythm for NWSL. It kind of feels it's this flashpoint where Seattle comes in and everything kind of explodes for the MLS, and then you start getting more expansion teams. You start getting even higher end players coming in. I think this is what the NWSL, the Denver Summit, will do for NWSL. 60,000, you break the record by 20. The largest women's sporting event in the world that's not international play is an insane record to play in the world. So to me, that's when you have players and you have the UCL, the women's UCL, on the other side of the world, and you're still breaking that record. It's, to me, it gives me chills. I teared up a little bit, honestly, watching it on TV.
Crazy,
because it's a point where you start thinking, wow, Denver's a soccer city. We just don't have soccer owners. And if you give us a good product, if you give us something that we want to watch, we will watch it, we will sell out, and we will show out for whoever's out there.
Here, man. Really incredible to just put our stamp on it and remind people what a great sports town this is, what a great soccer town this is. And yeah, the future's really bright, and made me a little upset that we fumbled the bag so much on hosting a World Cup game, because
we'll get a Women's World Cup match. I guarantee you that. It's coming to the US. We're gonna get one.
Great point.
We're gonna get one.
It's a great point. Well, let's get into some USMNT, because they had a little friendly tune-up here.
It's called a ASSMNT.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Mere hours after Poach was talking about he thinks his team could go to a semifinal in the World Cup, they get boat raced 5-2 against Belgium, and then 2-0 against Portugal. I actually thought Portugal encouraging first 30 minutes, and then after they got the first goal scored on them, both goals from Portugal, absolute beauts, they kind of fell apart there.
Shout out Austin Trusty, by the way. We've mentioned his name more than we have in the last year.
No doubt.
Best player on the pitch for the US yesterday.
I'm so upset they didn't get a transfer fee for him. That really pisses me off, man. Dude's played Champions League. Dude's played Europa League. Like, he's at Celtic as a big time starter, and we have $0 to show for it.
Shout out the Kronks, bro.
Pathetic.
Get cronked.
Pathetic. You know what really ticked me off way more than the two results is Poach then so before the two games he's talking about this team could make it to the semifinals. After he's talking about Belgium and Portugal have top 100 players in the world. I'm not sure we have that yet. Bro, I know the two best players on Portugal, De Ketelaere and Salamakers, play for my stupid club or were signed by my stupid club. Pulisic is way better than both those guys. And Pulisic against Doku is a fun conversation. But they're in that same range. So if you think Doku's a top 100 player, guess what? Pulisic is too. And the way Weston McKennie's played in Champions and Serie A the last few years, he's at a similar level. So I think that's such a bullshit cop-out. And I just everything he's done is not encouraging, man. He's about to fumble this bag monumentally. And it's really disgusting.
It's horrible, dude.
They're so talented.
The biggest issue with the U.S., and it's been this generation specifically, it's their mentality. And it's nothing less of their... They've
lost a bit of the...
They have the talent. They have everything they need to be good. They just don't have the right mentality. And I've said this for years. I've gotten shit on for it for years. But it's this I'm better than you. Why should I try mentality? And they do that quite often. And then when it comes to big clubs, they kind of just oh, we're going to play good. And then they realize maybe we don't have the stuff to actually just show up and beat that team. And it happens to them quite often. And I think this is why I keep harping on this. The Gold Cup might not be your favorite tournament, but it's such an important camaraderie. It's such an important tournament. You don't get to play with these guys all the time.
Yeah.
You show up for your tournament. You show up for the times that you can. And that's what makes a difference. And to bring Mexico into this, they played the exact two squads in the exact same time span. They drew against both of them. They won 0-0. They got net positive results on those. They did not go out there and get blown out. They dominated parts of the match. They could have won both games if it was for one maybe ball goes into the left or the ball goes a little bit to the right. But Mexico is not built of just European-based players because they don't have a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And they're built on camaraderie, the power of friendship almost, and it takes you so far. And people forget that this is a team sport. These are professionals. With a little bit of that team sport, you can get to a level where you're competing against high-end players, high-end teams. Like Costa Rica didn't get to the quarters of the semis in 2014 through having the most talented squad. They played well. They not to bring it up, but they took out Italy, but they also took out some top-tier players. Like Brian Reeves was their best player in that World Cup, and that dude went to go play, I think, for a bottom tier team in Netherlands or something like that. It wasn't like they were talented. It's just when you are with your team most of the time and you are committed to being the best version with your team, it shows immediately. And that's what the U.S. is lacking the most.
Yeah, and the Gold Cup is one of those opportunities where you do learn to win playing beautiful style and sometimes an ugly style, but you're the better team and you just find a way to win and grind it out. And it is what this team is lacking, among other things, including Pulisic's form just isn't. It's the worst stretch he's had in at least 2 years, these last 3 months. And they need that guy to be the star he was 3 months ago.
And they lost against Costa Rica in Nations League. They didn't make it to the finals.
Yeah.
And they had their top tier squad. And why? Because they don't know how to grind out wins. They don't know how to be a grimy team. And it takes griminess. It takes dirty work to win games. No matter at what level, which team you're playing, it always takes a little bit of that.
This team to me, and this is almost kind of a dumb comparison, but I think of my daughter's 11-year-old rec team, rec plus team. And earlier this week, it's my favorite practice to watch my daughter play. It's only happened one other time, but it's when all the other girls who all go to almost all of them go to the same school because they're all good friends. They don't take practice seriously. And Penny got super pissed and just took it to all of her teammates. And it was really, as a dad, it's hilarious. But this is going somewhere. But we were talking on the way home, and she's talking about how frustrating it is that her teammates don't want to show up for only 60 minutes to practice. They just want to show up during game time. And I feel like that's the U.S. men's national team. These friendlies, I feel like they don't want to show up. They're not playing their best. They're not trying their hardest. They're just waiting for the big tournament to happen, and they're going to say, we're going to show up now. You think back to the Broncos, Tebow. Mm-hmm. He was like, well, he's just not a guy. He's not a practice guy. He's a game guy. He'll be fine for that. That worries me about the U.S. men's national team is I don't see them as a team that takes these friendlies as a serious time to get together. Like Yahya is saying about gelling as a team, you learn how to be grimy and grind it out by practicing together and getting so gelled with your guys that you know where they're going to be. Even when the shit hits the fan against teams you should be beating, you already have that connection. And these friendlies are showing me that this team is not taking it seriously. Like, yes, it's a friendly, it's a practice game, but it's the World freaking Cup in 3 months. Like, you better start taking these seriously, or you're going to show up to the World Cup and you're getting grouped, like, right out of the gate.
Yeah, now you have Turkey in your group. The other thing is, last World Cup, they were the youngest team in the tournament that made it to, like, the knockout rounds. And Poach hasn't really relied on that core. Like, that core's kind of gone. You could rely on that core before, and you've all these years to, like, build on that young core, and you've kind of fumbled the bag. And now you have Turkey in a Group D that has the U.S., Paraguay, and Australia. Turkey beats Kosovo, who would have been a much, much easier opponent. And now I don't think you're the favorite to win your group anymore.
How many goals are you scoring against Lucas Harrington?
No, and I mean, Paraguay's going to grind you and grime you out too. Like, if you're not ready.
Australia always shows up for the World Cup too. Yeah. Every damn year. Like, every.
Oh, and Australia's going to play like old school U.S.
Yeah, we're gonna mean something to them. Like, they are trying.
They're grimy. They're like Australia. Like, exactly. I remember in 2014, like, Australia took Germany to the edge. Like Spain was struggling against Australia. Like, Australia is not something to laugh at. They're a team that's willing to battle it out.
For sure. And it's gonna be a tough road. It's hard to feel optimistic about this group.
And I'll say it again. I think it all comes down to the actual. It comes down to the mentality of the players, because I think they're the most talented they've ever been in their history. Yeah.
Like, there's no debate there.
And there should be no reason that you're losing to Costa Rica in the semifinals of a Nations League. There's no reason that you're getting blown the fuck out 6-2 by Belgium when Mexico can go get a draw against them.
And then blaming it on the freaking kids.
On the kids. You're like, Belgium also had the same issue, don't you think? Like, and they would have scored. Like
5-2.
The time for excuses is over.
Brutal.
Man.
Like it's too much at this point, and I hate that there's no accountability on this team. There's none. It's always something against them. We did everything. Something else fucked us up.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. The media culture around this team's becoming pretty toxic, man.
Yeah, including us.
It's not great. We're not super positive about it either. Mexico in Group A. We now have all our teams. It's Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and the Czech Republic, which we call Czechia now. Mm-hmm. And then Canada has Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland.
They got a little bit more difficult after qualifications, I will say. All three groups, they'd get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Czechia is, I would rather see Czechia than Denmark. But Czechia's still a really good team.
Yeah.
As a Mexico fan, but South Korea is like always going to be a battle. South Africa, tough, I think, is to me the one where it's like
for sure.
It's like the easiest out of the group for sure. But I think Canada's going to Bosnia is nothing to sniff at. Like
no, totally. But they look out that it's not Italy. You know, I mean, now I think Canada of those three CONCACAF teams of those three host nations is the one that probably has the best chance to win their group.
They're the favorite for sure in that group. So we'll see. I think it's definitely got tougher for all three of them. And I think all three of them can actually make it out with no problem. If I'm honest, I think we forget that host nations get very favorable whistles.
For sure. I mean, I think the U.S. still has a good chance to win their group. Mexico, man, it's going to be a toss-up with South Korea and Czechia.
Yeah, I think Mexico
could see anyone.
I'm starting to believe. Like, this is the thing.
I love this.
Like,
I love this.
I'm the biggest Mexico hater.
Yes.
65 days of the year for 3 years until the World Cup comes around, and then I start believing immediately, and it's Mexico all the way in. But Mexico has showed me something. They're playing like prime Rapids ball right now. They're playing out of the back. They're controlling possession. They're attacking through the wing. They got players that can actually do things. Like, they're playing modern style of football for once, and you can see the difference.
Huge. That's huge.
And it's like, okay, cool. Like, now you got a shot. Canada worries me the most with all those injuries and them not having any form. And Jesse Marsh always starts off really well, and then it just kind of teeters. And that's my fear, that it might get to that point where Jesse was just kind of teetering.
If you want an experience in soccer, come to the bar during World Cup and watch a Mexico game with Yahir.
Please don't. I will.
One of the most fun times in the last World Cup.
If you don't care, you can't get hurt. It's the way you.
We've got the E-line in the Toyota chat saying the U.S. will regret not hiring Jesse Marsh, which was another story that dropped recently that they basically had him as their next head coach and then went silent on him and hired Poach instead. It's going to be a nice little subplot in this North American World Cup, if you ask me.
It wouldn't be U.S. men's national soccer team drama without a coaching controversy for fans to yell about.
Bring Berhalter back.
No doubt. I mean, for real.
I mean it as a Mexico fan. Bring Berhalter back.
bring Klinsmann back, if you ask me. Yeah, tough times. Tough times. It's clock's ticking. World Cup's coming, and I don't know. And
3
this
months.
federation is bad. It's a top-down issue, boys.
Yep.
There's no way around it. Pids have Toronto this weekend. In Toronto, hell of a trip to be making. But how we feeling about that? Give me game predictions before we say goodbye to the people.
Rapids they've only won one of their last 8 out there, I think.
Sounds right.
I'm gonna say they win 3-1. Every game has been a 2-goal difference, and I'm gonna just say it's Hoffa, Paxton, and Georgi gets on the board in the last minute.
Wow.
All right. I'm sticking with my 2-1s, which is, I feel like that's been my prediction every time. I feel the Rapids win. I mean, I don't care that they've not won very much out there. I do think with some of the returning players, there's going to be a little more spice in the game after Georgi left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Yappy scores again. Maybe Paxton again. I mean, he's given. It's against Kansas City, but he's been on. He's been on
for
all
sure.
Season.
For sure. This is the game I still need to see if you're ready to, an 11 a.m. kickoff in Toronto, all that travel, international break. I got to see it. As a betting man, the Rapids are kind of bait right now. I'll say 1-1, but I really hope they prove me wrong and just destroy them, and we can really start talking about this team is different. This team is different from the Pids of yesteryear. But, hey, jury's still out. I got to see it first. Leave us a thumbs up on the way out. Love seeing all the Toyota chat comments. May you all walk in the light of Rapid Man. Duane, what do we say in these cases?
It's up the Pids, man.
Up the Pids, baby. We out. See you in 2 weeks.
We all silly like the mayor.